Hello, Steve White, Trickboy89 for Steve Hearts 89. Well, Star Trek Day. I had to say something about Star Trek Day. Now, Star Trek Day is more for new fans, clearly, because old Star Trek fans, real Star Trek fans, have been celebrating their own Star Trek Day since 1997. After First Contact came to the big screen, we decided that April 5th, First Contact Day, was our Star Trek Day. So it's been celebrated every year since 1997. So that's what, 23 years or something? But apparently now Alex Kurtzman and the new Trek fans, or Drekkies as some Star Trek fans call them, I think that's a bit harsh, but it is an easy way to distinguish between the two. New Trek, Drekkies, I don't know, it gets a bit facetious, not facetious, it gets a bit contentious because some people find it insulting, and I don't know the best way and who to address as what, so I'm just going to ignore that. Basically, we've been celebrating it for decades, and now they've decided, well, we need a Star Trek Day. So they've picked the anniversary of Star Trek, which was the other day in which Star Trek fans have been celebrating Star Trek since, I'm guessing, about 1970. After the first series ended, I don't know exactly when they started celebrating the anniversaries or the date that the show premiered. I think it started very early on because the fans were so active and militant towards the end of Star Trek's original run in 67 and 68, because it got cancelled twice basically, and 69, sorry. So I'm thinking they were celebrating it from the beginning. But it's certainly, the first time I was aware of it happening really was the 20th anniversary in 1986. And then the 25th anniversary was a huge one because they had Star Trek 6 coming out, and Next Generation was on air and celebrating it and doing a crossover. And then the 30th anniversary was huge. That was when First Contact came out. Voyager and Deep Space Nine were both on air and they both did specials. Special episodes. The 35th anniversary didn't get as much attention. Voyager had ended, Enterprise had just begun, and Enterprise and Voyager were both on UPN and had limited viewing because of that. And then all Star Trek was cancelled by the 40th anniversary in 2006, sadly. Enterprise had just been cancelled the year before. It didn't make it to a fifth season and didn't make it to that anniversary. So that was kind of ignored. The 50th anniversary, we had the films in the meantime, and the third film, JJ film, was supposed to be a 50th anniversary film, but because of the licensing issues between Paramount and CBS wasn't willing to celebrate Paramount, and Paramount wasn't willing to celebrate. It was just a mess, and it just got lost, and it was very disappointing for people who were expecting something big for the 50th anniversary. So we have our own days to celebrate. So it's a bit contentious, but that they're coming in and giving us a new. Now, if you want to just say that the anniversary is Star Trek Day, because we've kind of been thinking, because there's a Star Wars Day, we should have a Star Trek Day, and it's like, well, we have the anniversary, we celebrate that. So if you're going to consider the non-big anniversary dates, like just a Star Trek Day, and then just, each big anniversary, like the 60th anniversary would be the 60th anniversary Star Trek Day, and just sort of combine the two, that's okay. But the idea of replacing one and sort of not celebrating the anniversary of the original Star Trek and just doing a generic Star Trek Day that focuses on just the new Star Treks, that's the issue here. Because if you look at the art, that's what got everybody's feathers ruffled, and I was like, what? Basically, and I just have to check that I'm not remembering this differently from how it actually was. I've got my little picture here. Basically, Star Trek Day has a big whooshing Discovery in the center of its image. No other starships, no Voyager, no Enterprises, A, B, C, or D. I should have rolled my tongue then. Or D. I can't do a Scottish accent. I don't know what I was doing there. But yeah, they've got a random selection of characters. The biggest head is Picard. The biggest person is Sonequa, Michael Burnham. right next to Discovery, which is in the centre, with the Vulcan salute behind it, because we know normies know what that is, so we have to have the Vulcan salute in everything now. And then Spock is up the top, and surprisingly it's the original Spock. They haven't replaced it with Ethan Spock, Ethan Peck. And then, of course, we have Pike next to Sonequa, because, he's, the next captain of the next series. And then, of course, we have our two most important diverse characters, Sisko, who I never liked, and not because he's black. I love all the other black characters. I just did not like him. And Avery is not very nice in person. He was really homophobic to a friend of mine in person. So, fuck you, Avery. And, of course, Kate Mulgrew, Catherine Janeway, who's the best. I met her too. She was awesome. I pissed her off and it was funny. But she respected it because she has integrity. And then, of course, we have, for some random reason, Uhura and Sulu, and Sulu's bigger than Uhura, because they are, of course, the most diverse characters, so they have to be in there for work points. And I don't have, obviously I'm not racist, sexist, homophobic, anything. I don't have an issue with any of the diversity in Star Trek, but it's the way that certain people carry it around like a prize, and the tokenism that they sort of put into it, which is offensive. And some people, it's really contentious how that is discussed. Some people are genuinely offended, like me, by the way they use it. Other people use that as an excuse to undermine the diversity itself, which is wrong. And they sound kind of similar, unfortunately, unless you actually listen to the person's reasons for why they're saying it, and blah, blah, blah. And then we get to the most insulting thing, two insulting things. Captain Archer isn't there at all, and Kirk's there, but he's so small, you would almost not know he was there. And William Shatner himself posted a picture with himself highlighted, blown up so you could actually see him, saying, "Oh, there I am," because obviously that's a huge slap in the face. There's no reason why he has to be that small. Number one, they could have had all the characters the same size, pretty much. And certainly that row of, that sort of careen of sort of heads, his is the only small head. They've just deliberately made him small to diminish him because he's, of course, a white male. And William Shatner himself is sounding a bit conservative on Twitter these days, and he hasn't said anything that's offended me, but he's offended a few other people. Whether that's justified or whether they're just, like to be offended, some of these people do. Some, of course, have genuine reasons to demand sort of things not be said or to be acknowledged, blah, blah, blah. That's a whole other video. But, yeah, it's kind of weird and offensive that they have eliminated one of the white male captains. They've diminished the other one, the main one of all of Star Trek. The main characters are Kirk and Spock. No matter what you say, it doesn't matter if you like the new shows, if the new shows are the most current, relevant, the ones that are actually on air or making money or being marketed or licensed or whatever. Star Trek is Kirk and Spock. It's just like when you look at pop, the Queen of Pop is Madonna, the King of Pop is Michael. That's not going to change no matter how much you love Gaga or whoever comes up next. It's established. The crowns do not get renounced. They are set. Kirk and Spock, that is Star Trek. So the fact that they're diminished, or Kirk is diminished, is insulting, and the fact that Archer's removed is just really offensive, especially since when we get into the panels, which I may have to do a separate video because I've already gone on for 9 minutes. So just the idea of Star Trek Day is a bit offensive, because they're not acknowledging the holiday, the celebrations that Star Trek fans already have. They're coming in acting like we don't matter, we're not relevant, we don't exist, old fans don't exist, and we're just going to create this new holiday, this new celebration, for new Star Trek fans, focusing on the new series, and just pretend like the other fans who have been supporting the franchise for the last 54 years, when the new fans don't support it because they don't buy merchandise, partly because none's being made, really. No substantial merchandise is being made because there's no audience for it, because the audience for the new shows are more there for woke points and political agendas and tweeting, and not actually watching the show and buying merchandise and supporting it like an actual fan does. that's why they don't have the respect of the existing fans who have put in the hard work and dollars over the last few decades. So I'm going to do a whole video on the whole argument between fans and the difference between fans and supporting the franchise and that. But those are some of the issues. So this video now is just all about the image and the idea of First Contact Day, and I'm going to do another video right after this about what they're actually doing for Star Trek Day and what it actually is going to consist of. So thanks for watching this far. Didn't go as planned. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. I've already heard a few people's thoughts, and I pretty much agree with most of it. We're being a little precious. We're being a little precious, but considering the battering we've taken from New Trek, it's understandable we're a bit sensitive and triggered. So I'm going to go. Thanks, bye.